everyone, and welcome back to the Thorpe Park 1999 project. We're now on part 4 of the Pirates 4D theatre build, and today we're heading into the alleyway and the back side of the building. Easily overlooked, but one of the most detailed parts of the whole building. Let's get into it. I started off by jumping into the alleyway beside the building. This is a really tricky area because there aren't many photos out there. But it's a good thing that when I recently went to Thorpe Park, I managed to grab a few images myself. To make the model as accurate as possible, I used a mixture of reference photos and projection mapping, and a little bit of image perspective correction too. This helps flatten out the warped angles to give me a solid, reliable base to build from. Once I corrected the image, I projected it onto the model, and I began adding elements directly over top of it. Trims, fake windows, wall framing, a door, and a small vent. With all the details in, I cleaned up the mesh, tidied up the topology. I also added a piece of roof theming above it to match how it actually looked. Moving along to the next part of the alley, it was pretty much the same process. Project the image, add the trim, windows, door, and finish with the roof piece. And yes, the same again for the third alley section. Projection mapping is a lifesaver for areas like this, where the theming is subtle but very specific. It can be slow work, but the accuracy definitely pays off. After finishing the alleyway, I moved around to the back of the building again to start finishing up the large central section where the exit doors are located. For this one, I used a combination of concept art from the re-theme, older photos to match texture choices, and the same workflow of cutting out the windows and door frames. Once the first wall section was complete, I simply copied it over to the right-hand side to save time. This whole building is big enough that anywhere I can reuse accurate geometry, I will. There was one more smaller section of the back facade to complete before moving on to the main centerpiece. For this one, I reused one of my template window sets, tweaking the design so it matched this particular section. The door, however, was completely unique, so that had to be modelled from scratch. It's little details like this that really help keep the building consistent with the real thing. Now for the big one, the large central piece at the back of the theatre. This is definitely one of the most complicated parts of the entire building. There's layered trims, inset wall shapes, varying heights, deep recesses, decorative framing, multiple intersecting angles, and a lot of curved bricks. It wasn't too difficult, but it definitely took some time to get it right, especially making sure the geometry stays clean. A messy mesh means messy textures, and much more difficult to tweak later on, so it's definitely worth the extra effort. If you're enjoying the project and want to dive deeper behind the scenes, consider joining the community on Patreon. You'll get access to exclusive content, early builds of the game, and some great rewards along the way. Massive thanks to all the current supporters. Every bit of support helps keep the project moving. Now back to it. By the time I've wrapped up this section, I'll put it into perspective how much work has really gone into this build so far. This one building alone has taken around 20 hours of work already, and we're still not even started on the front facade yet. To finish this video, here are some screenshots of the model inside Blender. Here's a look at some of the template elements I've been using to speed up the process, the alleyway, and the entire back section. It's really satisfying to see this entire rear side finally taking shape. And that's it with part 4. Next time, I'll finish the large centre rear section, the area that used to contain some arcade games, and then finally start moving on to the front facade, where all of the action and theming really shines. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.